the recruitment's not going to stop. But this is one of those recruitment marks, despite me always saying it's a long way till December. I feel like they've been with him for the stretch and what they're going to provide for the NIL. And I really think this development and what Miami is doing, um, as far as being able to develop this particular position, is going to speak volumes. And I think Cantwell stays put until December, and I think he will finish out being a Cane. But again, with this being said, this means that where does Georgia stand? Where does Oregon stand? Because there's plenty of guys on the board. While Georgia, of course, this was going to hit hard for them, losing a top offensive lineman prospect. Believe me, they are in no bad position, especially heading to this weekend. Big recruiting weekend down in Athens. Of course, we know that the scavenger hunt is one of the big annual recruitings, not only for the football team down there, but for the basketball team. So a lot of dogs in play. One guy that we're definitely going to be looking for that's going to be down there this weekend is another offensive lineman, Darius Gray. I believe now with the dominoes falling with Cantwell committing to Miami, that it's going to leave a lot of room for deals to be made, not only on the NIL side, but a lot of free space to open up to go over some high power recruits. So just because Georgia and Oregon ultimately lost out in this one, both guys are setting themselves up position, especially Oregon. Georgia could possibly land not one, but two of the top offensive 5-star guys, on the board. So big hour setting back. But again, a lot of things in motion. We already broke down Cantwell, but again, like I said, Darius Gray setting to head over to the scavenger hunt this weekend. Let's see what pieces and he puts together. He possibly could very well be a Georgia Bulldog, but again, Georgia is still in very good shape despite not getting this commitment. Like I said, some of the names that definitely look for. I think on three has him as the number 6 recruiting class, so definitely still in good shape. Of course, we know they got a big win on that defensive side with Jordan Smith, the Houston County commit. Of course, they may have not added Jackson Cantwell, but they have Jared Curtis and some of the guys. There's plenty of movement and still motion. They're looking to capitalize on this weekend. As far as getting as far as getting 5 stars, again, Kirby Smart is in good place. Some of the names to watch for this weekend at Scavenger Hunt, of course, a lot of 5 stars. They're going after the number one linebacker, top rated linebacker, and Tyler Atkinson. Of course, number 1 running back, Savion Hitler. Uh, Brandon Arrington, another top cornerback, the number 2 receiver, Cedric Morgan, are some guys. A couple flips brewing. Of course, we know Xavier Griffin, one of the number 2 linebacker in the country right now, Mark, is heavily committed to USC. But again, we are in the heart of OV season. So Georgia looking to make a big flip this weekend and trying to get in the graces of Xavier Griffin. Of course, they may have not won the number 1 offensive lineman in the country, but they still, like I said, have the number 1 offensive interior lineman in Darius Gray heading down that way, that they definitely will undoubtedly be hyping up his recruitment. Again, Darius Gray, interior lineman, but could very easily be moved across that line. Some other guys to look at, of course, Xavier Cromwell out of Jackson, number 2 running back in the country. Again, another running back that I think that they're going to have to be yet in another battle with Miami is, of course, the number 3 running back in Derek Cooper. Derek Cooper's recruitment has got very heated, very up to the wire. They're going to be battling Miami. We also know that he's, of course, out of Charmaine Madonna down there in Florida. So again, Miami looking to battle again. But as far as, of course, this is a hard hit for Kirby Smart, but heading into scavenger hunt weekend with just some of the names that I list, we're talking about not just number 1 offensive guys, but a lot of number 1 guys across the board. Kirby Smart looking to capitalize, continue to fill that depth chart. So it's a hard hit for the Oregon Ducks. It's a hard hit for Georgia in not getting the number 1 guy, but again, they are still in pretty good shape. And with these things, Mark, like I said, there's still plenty of top guys off the board. So where do we have left as far as offensive linemen go in this 2026 class? Well, Oregon and Georgia definitely have their picks, and I think the 2 guys that come to mind first off has to be Georgetown Prep Maryland standout Emmanuel Inacho. This is a kid who is just truly remarkable when you look at him. Colossal offensive lineman, 6'7", 350 pounds, has some of the longest arms probably in this 2026 class, Mark. he just has an unexpected burst when it comes to his lower body movement, explosiveness that really defies his size. This is another kid that I really like about him, and I think that's why he's become so versatile. While he's could be used on any position on that line, and I think his potential to transition from the interior offensive lineman from the right side to the interior offensive lineman also makes him one of those guys that's just very, very marketable. Again, like I said, extremely enormous in his reach, has exceptional hand power. Like I said, he's a challenge when you have to go up with him against the trenches. So for me, I think with the dominoes falling, with Oregon losing out in this one, I really do believe that it's going to set the tone for Oregon. They've already been recruiting him hard, but I really like now with Cantwell making this move to Miami. I really like where it sets the picture and sets the tone for Oregon and Dan Lanning to land Emmanuel Iheanacho. Of course, there's some other schools that are lurking, LSU, Penn State, but I really think now that as the dominoes have started to fall as far as the top elite offensive tackles, that this really sets the tone for Oregon to really be able to go out there and get the kill. He's been there several times. The relationship seems to constantly getting stronger. And I think now with this commitment, that this will only allow him to have a little bit more confidence. That this is a kid, like I said, that where he stands, he still has some areas of growth. But I think, again, this is a kid with a lot of already NFL potential at such a young, early age. So I think now with this dominoes falling, that the next 5-star plus OT is really set in line and sets himself for Oregon.
I never cared much for Wednesdays, but you now, like me, everyone, can look forward to Wednesday night with Leanne and myself, talking college football, talking recruiting, talking the transfer portal. We're on the move every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern, right here. And Leanne is going to continue to join us on a regular basis for the Croot and Coup. And that will be just about every day.
Yeah, we'll be here every day. Tomorrow we might have a little bit of a change, or but we'll be here on the show, of course, just breaking it down. Like I said, as the dominoes start to fall, we're in the heart of official visit season. So make sure you guys tune into our late night show. And then of course every day we'll have the Crew and Crew with the latest rumblings. But again, Miami staged one heck of a coup today in being able to down to the wire where not just NIL but development did matter, relationships matter. But when it was all said and done, that Miami cap may have not fit Jackson Cantwell today when he did that infamous put his cap on today on his recruiting announcement. But man, talk about a big win, a big fit. And I think for Miami now that it's really going to give them some steam as far as the recruiting trail, landing this top talent, because again, it's setting a lot in motion, because I think now we realize that Miami is willing. We've seen a lot of other programs with hefty bankrolls, as I like to call them, as far as NIL, still have that reservation and hesitation when it comes to building a class solely on top high school elite talent. Mario Cristobal and company have definitely shown they are not afraid to run towards that fire.